All right, well, I feel like people really gave up on this crypto hype.
I mean, kind of rightfully so.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison.
We got these pump and dumps, people getting their wallets drained.
As we were filming this, literally somebody, some offline moderator freaking called me and tried to work a scam on me.
Who's this?
I mean, to be fair, we were just going on some meme coin community and just started trolling.
Pretty much we're gonna go out and we're gonna see what the general consensus of crypto is.
All right, we're at Mike's place. We're gonna ask some people, do they think crypto is a scam or not? I don't really know much about crypto, so all right, that's perfect.
And I have
That's
You have no idea what crypto is, so that's it.
I mean, listen, I think crypto needs this product feedback loop. And what do I mean by that? You get people excited about the technology, and then from there, developers get even more excited because people are using it, and it loops and loops, and innovation happens that way. Let's get up to the building first. All the way up.
But if people feel this world, then this technology is never gonna get adopted.
Father, what are we gonna do?
The real question is, when will the people adopt crypto?
First use case, digital payments. In other words, just easy international payments. Then we got smart contracts, so you can track all your documents, and then just a decentralized form of finance.
Now meet our boy Will right here. He's a 21-year-old trying to build something that protects people's crypto assets. And so we got to get him on here and talk about more than just the gambling scene of crypto and how we can get more people, and if this will be the next generation of digital payments, digital currency, and will this technology even be used in our future? Or will it just be something of history that we just talk about? Let's move into the clip.
Hey, we back at it again. Like we said last time, we're more consistent with this shit. It's not some, what is it, bi-weekly thing. We're trying to do a weekly type thing. But we got our boy Will. He's out here to spit us game about the crypto world. Young builder, 21, stud out here, just really building something that's honestly I couldn't even wrap my head around. I was trying to read research papers and stuff like that, and I literally couldn't figure it out. But thank you, Will, for coming on here. We had a little intro thing trying to break down the game of what people think about the crypto world. And you're here to bring us all your wisdom about how you're doing it young, how you're able to build, what you're building. And like, let's break down the whole game. First of all, like get everyone to get to know you. Like, what are you building? How did you come up with the idea? Like, what motivated you out there? Kind of give a rundown of who you are, first of all. And then let's get into the gist of it.
Yeah. For one, let me thank you so much for allowing me to hop on the pod. I'm excited for this because I know you both, I've seen some of the videos already, ask phenomenal questions and do so in a super energetic and fun way. The same type of person. So I'm excited to get into it. A little bit about me though. I guess the journey starts off in 2017. It started with me just buying a little bit of Bitcoin from my mom. Of course, we saw it go all the way up and then come right back down. And I got depressed for a little bit, decided to hop out the market. But then 2021 comes back around and it's another bull market, so I find myself back in the game. Now, fast forward some time, it's the summer of 2022, and I'm fooling around a little bit. Long story short, I end up being the victim of a $6,000 hack, where my wallet just gets completely drained. And at the time I was in college, so like $6,000 was like everything to me.
That's a lot. A lot
of money. Exactly.
Yeah, bro. That's nuts.
Now, when that happened, I thought to myself, okay, crypto is supposed to be the modern alternative to traditional finance. Yet I, as a participant, can just lose my life savings like this. And on top of that, there's nobody that I can call. Everything's decentralized. There's no bank in blockchains. I was really SOL at that point. After having that experience, I was like, okay, if this is supposed to be something that everybody is to one day adopt, then it can't be the case, no matter how technically sophisticated you are, that you can just be able to lose your life savings like this. And so we've got to find a solution for it. And that's where now, over the past, I'd say, year and a half, we've been just exploring and researching different solutions to where we have landed on what we landed now, which is this platform that we're building that allows high net worth individuals to recover stolen assets. And the way that they do so is basically they're going to be able to take their ERC20 tokens. So this may be things like ETH, Matic, USDC. Those are some of the popular ones. And you can deposit it into our platform. They'll be deposited into what we call a vault, but it's really a multi-sig safe or a multi-signature smart contract. And it's backed by Safe's industry-leading multi-sig infrastructure. And once those funds are deposited, we'll mint them a protected token, which is a recoverable alternative to these ERC20 tokens.
Okay.
So I call it a recoverable twin just for simplicity's sake. But really what these tokens are is they have built-in recovery functions such that in the event of a verified hack or a theft, we can literally pull these assets out of the hacker's wallet and return them back to a designated recovery wallet of your choosing. But we can only do so after a decentralized group of jurors that we call the Resolvers verify the occurrence of fraud and then give us the permission to actually conduct that recovery. So there's little checks and balances to make sure that we can't abuse our power as the facilitator of the system.
I see. I mean, out of everything, well, that was a lot. First of all, like I was trying to break this down, and I had a conversation with Murph when I was telling him about how excited I was meeting you. And first of all, I want to tell everyone, I just literally sent you a cold LinkedIn message and was like, "Hey, bro, this shit is so lit, bro." Like I was like, I need to learn more about it. And then you kind of broke down the game for me, and I went through that rabbit hole from there. And the crazy thing is when I try to explain this to some of like our friends, like me and Murph went and had dinner with some of our friends that are not really tapped in. They know what crypto is, but not really understand. I was trying to explain to them, I'm like, think about it, it's just like a wrapper. And in a certain time frame window, like you were saying, a couple of jurors can confirm that this was stolen assets and you can get that back. It's almost like you put like a string to it and you're kind of like rolling that string back if someone's like, oh yeah, I don't know. I say the jurors are kind of like the fishermen, and you're like, hey, like that's mine. And then the fisherman's like, oh, okay, that's yours, and then rolls it back in. And so it's like, I was like, oh my gosh. I was trying to explain to them, and they're like, oh, Dad, that's game changer. Like I mean, Murph, what did you think the reaction was like when we were explaining, or what was your initial reaction?
Well, I immediately, because I've been, as one does, goes down the rabbit hole, the decentralization aspect, I'm curious if you've had any blockers facing that, because I struggle to think about, you're kind of like the referees. You're almost like the referees in the game and making sure everybody plays fair. Have you had any like blockers with the decentralization aspect that, you're kind of tracking down where this money goes? Do you think that destroys one of the use cases for cryptocurrencies, blockchain? Like, have you had any issues there? That's where my mind went. So I'm curious, like, what happened?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the great thing about the blockchain is the fact that everything's transparent. So if somebody really wanted to say, Ahmed, you got your funds stolen, you could go into something like Etherscan and track exactly where those funds are going. So it's not like we're breaking anything in terms of anonymity or privacy there, because it's out for the taking. Now, with the decentralization aspect, that's why we've implemented these different checks and balances to make sure that, again, we can't abuse our power. So one of them being the fact that with this multi-sig, somebody may argue that, okay, you guys are putting all these funds into this vault, and now that vault is managed by you. This is a centralized entity. But what we do is we take the signing keys of this multi-sig and actually distribute it amongst trusted industry players. So folks who we're looking to work with is like Fireblocks, BitGo, Anchorage, these massive firms who have the infrastructure and security, highest level of security, to manage these keys alongside us. So that way, not just one person can ever run away with the pot of funds.
Okay.
So that's one aspect of decentralization right there.
So your partnerships is like the partnerships with other things, you guys not being the central vault, but you guys splitting it off with these other partners is allowing that decentralization to work.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why we really see ourselves, instead of like this centralized entity, more as a facilitator of the system.
Yeah.
We're kind of just the folks who put the system in place, the rules, we set the rules. But we don't have all the power to make the decisions on everybody's behalf.
Yeah. Dang. I mean, before we get really, really really into it, I want to take a couple steps back. And I'm going over it, and you can tell the way I'm asking questions, like my ADHD, like is going crazy. When I get excited, I start moving like a madman. But this is a question that I had, and I was like thinking about. I mean, like out of everything in the world, like with the guy your talent, the way that you're able to like hold yourself, speak, everything, like the corporate Rizzlers, it's like why did you pursue to choose like the crypto space? Like you could have gone anything, you could have gone AI, you can go to gone anything. And because I feel like a lot of people, when you tell them like, oh, I'm building in crypto, they're like, really one of those guys? Like why did you decide to build in crypto? What got you so curious on it? And how do you deal with kind of like the stigma by like the just even the general investing? Like I feel like if it's not like the specific people that are investing in crypto, it's like these general investors are kind of like, crypto, like, nah, let's put that to the side. AI though, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you mitigate through that, and why did you choose that space?
Yeah. It's funny because when I first started this thing, it was like summer of 2022 or 2023, and I was part of this startup accelerator. One of the guys in there was like, Will, he asked me the same exact question. You're super talented. You have this ability to speak and smart, all these different things. Why are you putting all this time into a space that's going to go nowhere? You're literally wasting your time, kid. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't think so. Because even if it's the case that crypto goes absolutely nowhere, the reason that I started this in the first place is to really prove to myself that I am who I said I am, and I can do what I said I could do. And so for context, one of my like biggest life goals is to become a master orator.
Just what that mean?
Speaker.
Master. Okay, just like like you can speak
speaker.
very well. Okay,
right,
okay.
Right. Because
you gotta dumb it down for me.
No, that's okay. Because you think of folks like Muhammad Ali,
yeah,
or Obama, or Napoleon. Even these are the types of people I look up to. Marcus Aurelius, and they had this ability to command a room, and not only command a room, but like tell stories nobody knows. And in being able to tell these stories, they were able to get people to do things both for them and alongside them. So if I can cultivate my ability to speak in a way that matches that level of oration of speaking, then I think the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. But going back to the question itself, I think if I'm able to take a topic as complex as crypto and break it down into its simplest form so that anybody, regardless of where you come from, whether or not you might even be in the tech space, can understand it, then I know that I've given myself undoubtable proof that I can do what I said I could do, which is both understand and then explain this super complex topic, and also just generate a story and a vision around it to make other people move.
Bar
Dude,
after bar.
I'm so close to my screen right now. I'm listening to you talk. Oh my god. Master orator right here, Will Lawson. Holy shit.
I
That was
just
Not
awesome.
there yet. We're getting close though.
Dude, I mean, I completely agree with you, bro. Like that's why I like really was like right when we talked, I was like, bro, this guy got something different, because it is, at the end of the day, like you said, it isn't about the space. It's about proving to yourself that you can go through something that everyone's saying is impossible. Because I'm a builder, like I'm an indie hacker. I build like these like little projects and everything. And a lot of people are like, they tell me like, oh man, that sounds so hard. It's not that hard. But if you put that ceiling on yourself, you're not gonna accomplish anything. But when you go about it and you're just like, I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to figure this out, you do crazy things, and you learn so much about yourself. But also you learn the ability to synthesize complex topics. And that's a lesson that you can't gain anywhere else by just, like you have to just go and do shit. That's hard. And like, honestly, bro, props to you, bro. How'd you stand your ground? That's one thing. How'd you stand your ground that this is my space? This is my shit that I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I feel like I could come on here and be like, oh, I stand my ground. Anybody that comes up to me, I'm going to be like, no, crypto is absolutely the way. But I got to be straight up. Sometimes it's the case that I even wonder to myself, is this the right space? Is this the thing that I'm supposed to be doing? And the thing that continues to get me over that hurdle is my co-founder. My co-founder is just like super optimistic person. I love it because he's the one that time and time again, where it all is going to shit. Everything seems like everything is breaking. He's the one who's like, Will, first of all, remember why it is that we started this thing. To prove to yourself that you can do this, right? We came out here to change the game. And this goes back to your question on stigma. Like, one of our missions is to literally remove the stigma that is associated with crypto. The fact that this is a land of scams and crimes and everybody's getting their funds taken and things are super complex. We're trying to eliminate all that. So remembering why it is that we entered. And then two, the fact that it's possible. So I don't know if you guys know who Les Brown is. He's this motivational speaker. Have you heard of him?
Nah, I never heard of him.
Okay, but my co-founder says this all the time. Les Brown, he has this super, super famous speech where he asked the audience, he's like, if you guys had this dream and you ask yourself every day how it is that you're going to accomplish it, you look to your right and your left and you're wondering how it is that you're going to do the thing, I just need you to say 2 words. It's possible.
2.
It's possible. And so long as you can say it's possible, then you have the path to continue to move forward. And what I know is that what we're doing, it's possible.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of,
I mean, bro, if you don't,
it's possible, keep going.
If you don't give up, you don't lose. That's just like as easy. It's easy as that. Like, going on like for me, like I always tell Murph, I text him all that. Murph like knows this. I always text him like super cheesy motivational stuff, but it's true. Like, you know, it's like you're like, oh, it's cheesy, all that, but it's true. Like, honestly forgot, it's some boxing movie, but someone asked him like, oh, what's the biggest lie you've been told? And he said, it's not that simple. And she's like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, he's like, that's the biggest lie that I've told. I'm sure y'all seen it in like all the Hope Core TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've never seen that. No.
Really? Okay. And so he pretty much said like the biggest lie that I've been told is it's not that simple, but it really is that simple. Like anything that you do, it's just that simple. You just gotta go do it. And it's like, I feel like that's the biggest thing that's stopping young people to just go build cool shit. Like, it's really like everyone's trying to figure out, oh, what's the best programming language? What's the best, like the design thing? Like, should I use Adobe? Should I use Figma? Should I do this? Should I do that? And like, you're asking the wrong questions. Like, the real question is like, just go build cool shit. Like, is AI going to take my job? Is this going to take my job? Just go build cool shit. Like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your curiosity is running wild, you're going to adapt to anything that gets thrown at you. And that's like why, like, bro, I just love talking to you, man. Like, you just like, again, like,
I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I'm ready to run through a brick wall after listening to you guys talk.
I interrupted you, Murph, earlier, so I wanted to let you get a chance to ask a question.
I mean, there is, obviously you've identified that there can be like some ceilings in industries that, you know, you enter in when building something. Like, there's no doubt that obviously Web3 has some ceilings right now with regulations and just overall adoption of the space with the general public. So I was curious, like another question I wanted to ask you is like, on top of Resolv, on top of what you and your team are doing right now, what else do you think in the space of Web3 needs to happen for large adoption to take place? Like, I obviously think what you guys are doing is going to like take out the factor of it, like, oh, it being a scam, I'm just going to lose my money. Like, some hacker's going to take everything in my wallet. What else do you think needs to happen, though? Is it like general public education of the space and how it works? That's something we talked about in the past with somebody else. But like, I'm just curious, what other things have you seen talking to people out there? Like, how can other people bring this into their own everyday lives, you know? I believe it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Like, it's just the way the world is going to. Everybody's waking up. I feel like more people our age are starting to understand it quicker than all the old folk out there, but I'm curious, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it really breaks down into 3 things: volatility, complexity, and fraud. So we can start with fraud because I think that's the easiest to address. If it's the case that this space, crypto as a whole, is known as a place where I can get my money stolen, then nobody's going to want to enter the space, right? So doing things to solve that, whether it be different prevention mechanisms or even taking a step further, like what Resolv is doing, which is recovery, those are the things that's going to further adoption. But then you go to something like complexity. Complexity also fairly simple to understand, because the fact of the matter is that crypto has this tendency of doing what I like to call technical masturbation, where all we talk about is we like freak out on the engineering of certain protocols and how complex these smart contracts or bonding curves and yields and all these different things. Like even sometimes for me, it gives me a headache. So simplifying all that and simplifying the UX as well as different interactions that people have to make in order to first be onboarded to crypto, as well as just continue using it. So for example, right now, if you wanted to say, we'll say something as simple as, Murph, you want to send some ETH to me. In order to do that, you have to, download the Coinbase app. And I guess Coinbase makes it a lot easier, and they've been making a lot of strives towards this. But you'll have to download a Coinbase app and then buy some ETH. You'll then send that ETH over to your non-custodial wallet, which might be something like a MetaMask or a Trust wallet. You have to go and set that up too. You've got to find a way to store your private keys, because if you ever get your private keys stolen, then that means somebody has access to your entire wallet. It's kind of like if somebody got the passwords to your bank account, you could just be like, forgot password, or just report it to the bank and they would change it for you, right? No, if somebody got access to your private keys, it's OVA. There's really nothing you can do. You might as well just trash that entire wallet.
Just to stop you real quick, how do private keys typically get stolen from like Meta? Because like I'm about to tell you something. Like I think I told you this last time, Will. My boy, he was making bank off the NFT flips like during the time. He had like 16K, some crazy amount. Bro wakes up, it's gone. Like it's all gone. All his flipping, everything, it's just gone. And I don't think he's touched investing ever since. Like not even just crypto, just investing in general.
Yeah.
So just like
See, I don't blame him.
How does that typically happen? How does the private keys get stolen? Is it through phishing? Is it through what have you seen kind of like from your experience being in the space?
Yeah, so we actually recently just conducted a study and interviewed roughly like 400 participants. We found that 64% of the time that people get their assets compromised, it's typically through some level of social engineering. And more specifically, it's been phishing. So either somebody sends you a malicious link, or they email you with some file to download or something like that. And then the hacker, by clicking on that link or downloading that file, is able to gain access to your system. And if you're storing your private keys on your computer or even perhaps in the cloud, and your passwords to that cloud is on your computer, then they can access those private keys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Another way, well, I guess, that's actually been the biggest way. Most times it's phishing.
Yeah.
There's one-off chances where the website itself that you're going to has been compromised. And so that's what's called the watering hole attack, where, the website has been compromised and then you interact with that site, but being that it's hacked, then they were able to either drain your wallet or compromise your assets in that way. There's a bunch of different things, but those tend to be the biggest one. Phishing,
So
most of all.
Start writing your shit down then. That's what I took away. Start writing your shit down.
And see, the issue too with something like that is, okay, say you write it down and you keep it in the most secure spot ever in your house.
Yeah.
But then, God forbid, your house burns down. Again,
Yeah, it's gone.
SOL.
Yeah.
Like your private keys are gone at that point. And so it's just this entire notion of the fact that there is private keys and we have to do all this work to keep track of them. Like I've heard of some crazy stuff that people do. They send it over to their grandma and they tell their grandma like this secret phrase and then lock it in a box in the woods, burying it. Crazy stuff that they'll go through.
That is, I mean, and so do you think by like, I don't even know where I was gonna even like move forward, was like how do we simplify these complex interactions? I know this question is like easier said than done, but like what's the way to do it? Like how do we reduce this? Because there seems like there's so many steps. Like for example, me and Murph were talking about DAOs and like trying to explain DAO to my mom and like how that like work, like she gonna be like, boy, you're crazy. Like I'm not doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Like I just was like, I'm trying to figure out like how do we go about simplifying this? Because there are complex protocols that go about it, but it's like how can we be able to get everyone involved in it?
Yeah. So for one, Coinbase is doing a great job of this. I got to give kudos to them because they've just hired a bunch of people and poured a ton of money into making a lot of these infrastructure and interactions with crypto super simple. So for example, you can literally set up a Coinbase wallet, that non-custodial wallet that I was talking about, now with just like your email, password, and maybe Face ID. You don't have to go through that entire process. There's other protocols or different mechanisms out there called chain abstraction. So you guys might know this. There's a bunch of different chains on the blockchain. You got like Ethereum and Matic and Base and Solana and Bitcoin and all these different things, but most of them don't talk to each other. And so it makes it really difficult when you want to do something on one chain, but you have your assets on another chain. And so you've got to go through a process of what's called bridging your assets to that chain. And that opens up a world of vulnerabilities that we won't even get into. But the point there is that there's these certain protocols called chain abstraction protocols that are simplifying that entire process, where they're essentially doing the heavy lifting on the back end for you, so that all you have to do is say, okay, I want to send some of my ETH, which is on Ethereum, to you, Ahmed, on Solana. I'll just click this button. It'll pay the gas and all that for me on the back end, and now I'm good. So we're making steps towards simplifying things, but it's steps and it takes time.
Are there any, like, who's the closest front runner trying to combine all the different chains, or is that just like not even in the picture right now?
I don't know if there's a closest front runner that I know of, at least, but there's this super cool company called Orb Labs, and I was in Belgium earlier this year for ETHCC, and they were doing a demo there. Oh, incredible demo where they were able, it's going to get super complex, but I'll just keep it real short. Basically, they were able to transfer the assets on one chain. Actually, you could do an interaction on a completely separate chain. The fees from several different chains. Yeah, that's going to get... you gotta like know chain abstraction to understand it. But the point is, they allowed you to click one button to interact with so many different chains, and what would have taken you maybe 30 steps to do in the first place, they did it with one. And so something like that, I'm like, whew, that's incredible.
That's game changing.
Yeah.
And you're Mr. First of all, I want to say before Murph, you go right after this. I just want to say, bro, you're Mr. Worldwide, bro. I swear to every time I talk to you, you're like, yeah, I'm about to go here and I'm about to go there. I'm still cooped up in Seattle, bro. I ain't leaving here anytime soon.
Let's get on that though, because I feel like people see this, and especially on my Snap, I gotta admit,
I know you out here like, hey.
I'll be in there. I'll be in there. Yo, we on the flight. I can't lie. But while it looks like all the glam and you flying all the time, when you're waking up at 3-4 a.m. to catch these flights, and it's like week after week after week. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it gets old. It gets boring, at least, or it gets tedious. But I'm definitely super grateful to be in the position that I am, like traveling the world, because I know most people don't have this opportunity.
You gotta like start showing your day in the life, bro. I swear, like I swear, like you need to start vlogging or something. Like I swear that shit would go crazy. Just kind of
like watch that content all the time. That is fire.
Like, have you heard of Daniel Dalen? Have you heard about that guy before?
Dalen. No.
All right, so he does like this kind of like, he's in Hong Kong and he does like these just kind of like day in the life of him building this like huge like e-commerce tech. Like he's building the tech and a startup for that. And then I'm like, bro, what if you just like showcase what you did every day? Like you'll travel, you're doing these kind of like your storytelling ability, like, bro, your personal brand and your ability to like really just like blow up as like a founder is just like so high, just because you don't see a lot of people your age doing the things that you're doing. You feel me? Especially in crypto. There's no one I feel like a lot of people in crypto are pretty low key. Like unless we were talking about Vitalik, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but bro, I'm just like dumbfounded by how young you are. I mean, like we're the same age, and it's just like in the ability of you just taking this leap and doing like first of all, like how are you able to take this leap without the fear of just kind of like feeling behind or feeling this like this I don't know how to explain it. Like sometimes I get this feeling of like, am I doing enough? Am I like, is this gonna work out? The self-doubt, like it hits me a lot. I mean, example with this content, like I know this content is bigger than me, right? At the end of the day. And I want to be able to inspire as many young, diverse innovators to go out there and build, hearing your story, right? But sometimes I go out there, I'm like, damn, is that girl that I was talking to a couple of days ago, she gonna see this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like
That's
these like
real.
little
That's
self-doubt stuff. Like how do you go about that? Like how did you take that leap?
Yeah. I've dreamed of doing this ever since I was like 17. I would watch the Y Combinator podcast episodes and just over and over again, like think about being in San Francisco, building something great. So for me, doing what it is that I'm doing now, like I'm literally living the dream. Now, living the dream, that doesn't mean it doesn't come with some fear. So I actually resonate heavily with that. Dude, I experience doubt all the time. And what furthers that doubt is I see a bunch of people on different podcasts or different doing interviews, kind of like this one,
Yeah.
where seemingly super successful founders, and they'll be like, oh no, not once did I ever experience the doubt. I knew this company was going to take off from day one. You can't tell me nothing. And I'm like, wait, we don't even have traction yet. I don't know what you're talking about. So I see that, and it makes me think sometimes, like, okay, am I really doing what it is that they're saying I'm trying to do if I'm also experiencing this doubt?
Yeah.
But what I found is it's less about how you feel and more about what you do.
Facts. Yeah. That's 100%.
You can experience this doubt all the time, but even in spite of that doubt, you must continue to move forward. And that's really what it's come down to for me.
Yeah.
Like my co-founder will tell you, I call him literally every day, like, Clark, how are we gonna do this? Everything's breaking right now.
Yeah.
We don't know how we're gonna solve any of these problems. Monies might be running low and all these different things. And he's like, again, it's possible.
Yeah.
You just keep going. You just keep going.
mean, this is something that I always remind myself when I'm building and shit's getting hard. It's like you wouldn't get paid if this shit was easy. You know what I'm saying? Like same with you, like what you're building. Like you wouldn't get paid if solving this issue was easy. Like it's like that's where the money comes from. The money comes from the people that get paid the most. Is they're solving a hard ass problem and they came up with a way to simplify it. And so it's like when you are going through hard shit, you just gotta remind yourself. I have to remind myself because I'm still going through this self-doubt. It's like, that's part of the game. Like, this is what you get paid for.
And one thing I will tell you is, while I do doubt very frequently that about maybe this company, like whether or not this company will work, at least right now, I actually do truly believe that this company will work, just because I believe it's a very big and needed problem that we're solving.
100%. 100%.
But of course, there's ups and downs. What I've never doubted, though, is whether or not I'll succeed and whether or not the people around me in my circle will succeed as well.
Yeah, 100%.
That's something I've never doubted. And that's just because I know so long as I'm consistent and I work on something for a long period of time and just keep at it, it's inevitable.
That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game.
When I think that just reminded me of something, like there's, again, freaking like motivational Instagram reels and TikTok where it's like one to the first power is one. If you keep doing the same thing every day, nothing's going to change. It's still going to be one. But like 1 to the 0.01 power is like whatever, some random, it's progress. It's like 32 something. That would be like, if you just do a little thing every day consistently, that'll end up being like 32 more days ahead of your plan than you were if you were just doing the same thing every day. So that's something I like to remind myself when, I'm stuck. I don't feel like doing this shit, but like, I know I need to, I want to. It's just, it's just to put it numerically, that helps me think about it better.
Yeah. And honestly, I commend you guys because you guys were talking earlier about how being consistent with the pod. And I know how tough that is, just consistently putting content out there, especially when you're really starting out, because you don't have the numbers to perhaps back up what it is that you're putting out.
Hey, 48 subscribers.
48 subscribers up there. That's more than I got, honestly. So we'll snap it up.
I'm just saying.
But what you guys are doing right now and what it is that I'm learning to do too, with me starting to put out a little bit of content out there, is you're really flexing a muscle.
Yeah.
So the same way that somebody who's never been in the gym before is going to come in there and just start by lifting 5 pounds. 5 pounds in in our reality, it's not going to do much for you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's the matter of getting in there day in, day out, and just building that muscle of consistency. That's exactly what you guys are doing with this pod. That's exactly what I was trying to do last night, where I had no idea of what type of content I wanted to create. I had no plan, but I was like, you know what? Right now, I'm just trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to build the muscle to put something out there. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to just turn the camera on and I'm going to start recording. We're just going to talk about whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
And regardless if it's entertaining or not, I'm going to still put it out there.
Yeah.
That's because I'm not trying to be the biggest and the best who's everybody's watching right now, but I'm just trying to build the muscle.
%. One thing that I think is game changer is building in public. Because I think there was this whole movement of it, but I think that every young person needs to put shitty stuff out there because someone will find it. And as you're getting better, that's where opportunities come. Like, for example, like I just gotta and this is my problem. I haven't been building in public. I haven't been putting my designs out there. I haven't been, but somebody came to me and was like, hey, this guy is looking for someone young, chief of staff, to like help him out with designs and all that. And I was like, wow, like he said, like, if I put shit out there every day, and if I put, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, like you were saying, like opportunities will come and energy, like that you're getting this energy and people will start coming around. It might take a while, but people will eventually start coming around.
Yeah.
And like, I think if you build them, like from like right now, I think if you were to make content of you like going to Singapore, you going to do these kind of things, you doing all that, you're gonna change the game, right? There ain't nobody doing that in the crypto space, showing what it's like to build the company, showing what it's like, the doubts, the things, and the reflections, and all that. And that's gonna create a community where people will, because your whole company's built on trust, like trust in like that like you have this decentralization and people are trusting to start using this new technology, and now you have this community behind you. It's like, man, we love Will. And so now Will, like, since you have this whole personal brand and you're authentic, like you are with me, with in this pod, you're just always like mad authentic. You're gonna get so many people trying to back and start using and being like open to using the new technology, open to using this kind of like new rapper. And it's like, damn, that's all just because I just started putting shit out there. And I like, that's why that's something that I just want to preach to everybody. It's like, bro, please build in public. Just please build in public. That's something I'm trying to get over because it can change your life. You don't know what opportunity might come around just because you have shit out there.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Yeah. Right. For any, we wanted to try to keep it. I'm a certified yapper, so I'm trying to keep this, like I told you, the 30-minute. Like, I'm trying to keep this 30 minutes. Murph, you got any final questions or anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want to ask Will, where do you see yourself in Resolv in a year or two? What's the goal right now?
I'd say the immediate goal is to release this testnet, validate the idea, and then release a mainnet. So that way we can actually start protecting real assets. I think we could do that in a year. I think we can do that in 6 months if we really, really try, if we really get the word out there. So in a year, a year is a real short period of time. So I'd say, yeah, we're just protecting real assets at that point, and we're continuing to scale the company from there.
Oh yeah.
You want to call it a wrap, Murph?
Yeah, man. I mean, Will, thank you for hopping on. Thank you for hopping on and spending some game about Web3.
Thank you so much for being so authentic, so awesome, bro. Like, I really do appreciate you taking a gamble on us and just, coming on here and just jamming out with us. Like, this was honestly one of like the most fun conversations that I had because I don't really get to talk about with a lot of people kind of like my ambition to like put things out there, and hearing the way that you speak, bro, is something different. So anyway, people can find you on social media. What are some ways that people can connect with you?
Yeah, so definitely the company X, as they're calling it now, formerly Twitter, because we're trying to grow that a little bit. So Resolv Crypto is the name of the X, and then my personal X is the King Lawson. So DA King Lawson,
the King,
son of the law.
The King Lawson. All right, drop a follow, show him some love, bro. Thank you so much, Will. We'll catch you guys hopefully in the next one in 1 week. 1 week, right, Murph? We're gonna be
Hell yeah.
consistent next week.
Attaboy.
All right.
Attaboy.
Hey, yo, peace.